Now I welcome Dr. Anand G, the chairperson of Amrita International Center for Spiritual Studies, to offer the welcome address.
Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Iyengar sir, respected Swami Prajnanamritanandapuri from our Amritapuri ashram, Dr. Nandakumaran sir, Principal Arts and Science, Amritapuri campus, all other colleagues, brahmacharis from ashram, dear students. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Amma, Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, our Guru and Chancellor of Amrita University. Amrita Darshanam International Center for Spiritual Studies came up as Amma's Sankalpa and was inaugurated during her 60th birthday celebrations in the year 2013. Right from its inception, the center has been focusing on providing postgraduate course in philosophy as well as in mentoring research leading to PhD on various topics of Indology and other interdisciplinary studies. Other major activities of the center include conducting invited lectures and conferences periodically on Indological topics. The center is also focused on saving, preserving and conserving our traditional knowledge system through its mission of collecting manuscripts, both palm leaf and paper. The tradition of Kerala calls upon us to celebrate this month of Karkidakam, known in Malayalam as Panjamasam, the month of extreme scarcity, as Ramayana month. As the name specifies, this holy month is destined for undertaking pious rhythm and recitation of Adhyatma Ramayanam Kilipattu version composed by Tunjathu Ramanujan Edutachan. He is very well known as the father of Malayalam language. Today, we are indeed fortunate to have the presence of Professor R.N. Iyengar sir, one among the most prominent scholars of our country, here with us. He is basically a civil engineer and was with the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for about 4 decades. He has been the director of Central Building Research Institute, Roorkee. He is currently a Raja Ramanna Fellow, ex-editor of Sadhana, published by the Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore, and the director, Center for Disaster Mitigation at Jain University, Bangalore. Apart from his contributions to engineering, he is also widely recognized for his work in history of science, especially collecting the historical scientific evidences depicted in the Vedas, Puranas and Itihasas. Works such as earthquakes in ancient India, historicity of celestial observations of Mahabharata, description of rainfall variability in Brihad Samhita of Varaha Mihira, some comet observations in ancient India are few among those. Every child of India grows up hearing the stories of legendary ancient Indian young bloods such as Nachiketas, Aruni, Upamanyu, etc. The story of the child Prince Dhruva, who by single-minded penance became the pole star, is indeed a captivating story. In today's lecture, Iyengar sir will be presenting his research work titled Archaeo Astronomy behind the legend of child Prince Dhruva as the pole star. Here he will be answering few questions such as how did this astronomical allegory arise, who saw this pole star, when and how was it recognized and described, etc. So on behalf of Amrita University, I would like to extend a warm, hearty welcome to you, sir, to this event. I would also like to welcome Swami Prajnanamritanandapuri Swami from our Mata Amritanandamayi mission, ashram. He is also a true inspirer and he inspires us for all the study, Indological study, and he is very much involved in the discussions as well. I welcome you, Swami, on behalf of Amrita University. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Nandumaran sir. He is also a true inspirer. He is a physicist himself. So I would like to welcome you, sir, to this. I would like to welcome all the other colleagues who have really worked behind making this occasion or this event today. And I would like to welcome all the colleagues to this occasion as well. I would also like to welcome all the students of Engineering and Arts and Science Department to this occasion.
First of all, let me thank the organizers of this lecture today for inviting me, particularly Dr. Rameshwar Ture. He has been asking me to come here for the last 1 year. Last year I could not come when you had a meeting on Indian mathematics or so. You had Kerala mathematics, Kerala School of Mathematics. That time I could not come. And I have always been, of course, wanting to come here. Because as it is said, the home is where Amma is. So, even though I had read about Amma and her work and all that, so today I had the occasion actually to come here. So I feel so happy to be amongst you. And I already spoke with Swamiji and a few of your colleagues, and it's so nice to know that there are people who have similar interests. Otherwise, because in the last 50, 60 years, our tradition, our learning tradition, intellectual tradition has gone in a way as though we are unconnected with our own country and our own culture, our history, even though we are trying to keep something together. And there are hundreds of people like here who are keeping it intact, so I feel happy to come here and share a few thoughts. This is about getting a cold, that's all. It's about the child prince Dhruva, as already was mentioned to you. You all know I should not talk about the legends he already mentioned. There are so many legends which come in our ancient literature. It is not only Dhruva. For example, there is the legend of Dhruva is the one which I am going to consider. Soma, drinking of Soma. So what is meant by drinking of Soma? Well, people would interpret it in various ways, but if you see the traditional way, you will say that Soma has 3 meanings. Yaska himself has said, one is of course in the Yagas, it is going to be the herb, whereas in the Adi Daivika meaning, it is the moon. In the Adhyatma meaning, it is the Manas. That is what he says. So if you take the Adi Daivika meaning, it is the moon, and many of the information that is available in the Vedas, where it is mentioned about Soma, if you take it as the Adi Daivika meaning, it refers to moon and there are some astronomical information, particularly the number 3339. In fact, I have worked on this to show that it is actually an eclipse number and all that. There are so many others like Nahusha, Saptarshi, Shakaduma. Shakaduma is again both in the Rig Veda as well as in the Atharvana Veda it comes. Shakaduma can be shown to be, it is an object between the stars Kritika and Rohini. So it should be a transient celestial object is my argument. Like that there are several others, I will not go into all of them. And whatever was in the Vedas, many of them have been carried on to the Puranas. What meaning might have been there is another issue. And the legends, perhaps they wanted to, they brought in the legends so that the Vedic information is carried on maybe as a folk tale or whatever you may call it, so that it is not forgotten. Like, if you say a very serious theoretical subject, it will be forgotten, but if the same thing is presented as a story, it is a codification. So it will be known. If you decode it, you will understand it. If you don't decode it, you may not understand it. You may think it is all meaningless and it is something different. I will give another corresponding example, which even now people do. There was during our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's time, they wanted to put something deep inside the history of India. Yeah, a capsule. And such capsules are there even in Europe. So their argument was maybe after about 10,000 years, when this present civilization is lost, somebody will take it out and then he will know what was there and all that. Now, that means if they can decode the language. If it is written in Hindi or say English or whatever language, they should know. Like, today we are struggling to know what is the Indus Valley script. So even though it is there, we are unable to do it. If it is so it seems as though some of this information at least were preserved in the Puranas, not all I would say, some, and that can be decodified even today quite rationally and scientifically. I will be presenting one example, that is of Dhruva. Now what is Dhruva? We have to see this. I hope all of you will be able to see this, otherwise you can switch off this light. See, if you ask today how the pole star has to be fixed, they will say this is the Saptarshi or the Big Dipper, and you join these two stars, you draw a line that will be the pole star. If you go to the planetarium, they will indicate it like that. Now this is a better picture from the Astronomical Union. You say this is the pole star, whereas the declination is, we would say 90 degrees. That is exactly, almost exactly at the North Celestial Pole. This star is called Alpha Ursa Minor. It is in a constellation called Ursa Minor. There are 4 plus 3, 7 stars. This number is important to understand. And this is the tip. This is what our astronomers, Siddhantic astronomers from 15th century AD, one Padmanabha, who wrote a book also on this, Matsya Yantra. They all called it Matsya, Dhruva Matsya. Brahmagupta also calls this Dhruva Matsya, and he says this star is at the face of the fish, the mouth of the fish. This is important. Is it the mouth of the fish? That information is important. That was only from 15th century it became the pole star. Modern astronomy says before 15th century there was no pole star. There was no star fixed at the northern point. Now it also says there is another constellation here called Draco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like this. It goes like this. And I will show some further figures also on this, where there is a star called Thuban that is called Alpha Draconis. That was actually the pole star occupying this position around 3000 BC. This is all modern astronomy. Physics professors will verify that, if necessary. That is all known. Now, the question comes. We know the story of Dhruva becoming the pole star. When did we know? It is from the Puranas, Brahmanda Purana, Vishnu Purana. Was it written in 15th century AD? As late as that? Nobody agrees. Even the worst Indologist, Western man, will say Brahmanda Purana was already 4th century AD. Because Brahmanda Purana was taken to Java. There is a version of Brahmanda Purana up to Sakti, Puru Bhaga of Brahmanda Purana is available in Java, which went in 4th, 5th century AD. Then how come there was no pole star? But a story of Dhruva becoming a pole star was already made. People would say, no, this is the thing, that is the thing. But we will see the text. If the text, what does it say really is the question. So that is the evidence. Now the meaning of the word Dhruva is very clear. It is fixed. That there is no controversy starting from Monier Williams or whatever. The meaning of the word Dhruva is fixed. It cannot be moving. If he is moving, it should be a moving Dhruva. You have to qualify him as a moving Dhruva. So, how was in Rigveda the word Dhruva was used? It was not used for a star. Dhruva meant earth was Dhruva. That means it was fixed. The mountains were Dhruva. So, Dhruva Kshitihi it would come. I will come to that mantra also later. They were all fixed. And it was used in the meaning of fixed Dhruva. But the Puranas used it in the sense of a fixed star. And they developed an astronomical theory also out of it. So how did they do it and why did they do it? That was the question. Now, well, I have already covered this. So my question, what I am asking is, how did the Puranas, Jyotisha Samhita, Vedic texts belonging to a previous period, know about a fixed star at the pole? Because it came only in 1500 AD. How did they know this? Why did they develop such a story? Now, again, if you see the present day literature on the ancient pole star and all that, they would say that, the evidence, the physical evidence for this earlier pole star comes from the pyramids in Egypt, because the pyramids were kept, the mummies in such a way that the opening goes to the pole star. Which pole star? Not the present day pole star, that is the diagram here, it goes to Thuban, which is in the Draco constellation. This is one of the arguments given. There is one of the arguments to show that the pyramids were constructed sometime in 2800 BC or earlier. There is a parallel evidence in Egypt because the hieroglyphs also you can interpret and roughly you can have a date, and this matches with that date. So the construction also should have happened during the period is the argument. Now this is a better picture which all of you can get. I have put a timeline also here. We will again and again come to this figure because it is very important. So what is meant by this Draco? This is 4 stars and then the remaining. Then there is a tip here. Modern constellation has 2 more, 16 stars. Actually there are only 14. Our Puranas talk of only 14 stars. You will see that. Even the Veda talks of 14 stars. That is the key issue, the number 14. And this was the pole star around 3000 BC. Now 1000 BC there was nothing. Then slowly 2000 AD the present day pole star has come. Why this happens? This happens because of the precession of the earth. So we can see this, the precession of the equinoxes. See, this is the sun, this is the earth. You watch this light, this is the ecliptic, and you know, this is the celestial axis, and these are the so-called 12 Rashis which are shown here. This is zodiac, and you can see where the pole is going. And any person standing on the earth and looking towards the north, what does he see is the question. This is what he is going to see. So, from this is 2000 AD. Yeah, okay, that is sufficient. This is 3000 BC. So it is due to precession of the equinoxes, the pole star is changing, the position is changing. And Hindus know about it. Now if you read texts on astronomy, they will say precession was known only around 300 BC by the Greek. Forget his name, some astronomers or somebody he pointed out. And because the star position is changing, the precession was known only from about 300 BC or 200 BC is the argument in the textbooks. But our texts are full of precession legends, and based on it, we can get some information. Which is the first one? Go back as far as possible. You go to the Vedas, and I can't cover all of that. And where very learned people are here, I am not going to attempt even that. But there are at least about 250 texts which are available from the older tradition, from the Vedic period, not the Samhitas, the 4 Samhitas. Then you know the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas and the Upanishads becomes a matrix, some 4 by 5 or 4 by 10, and each have their subdivisions, and totally the sutras of that become at least about 250 orally transmitted texts, which have been written at a later date on palm leaves and all that. One of the earlier things, in fact, you know, my hobby is to go through them and search for information here and there and see whether it makes any meaning, what could be the meaning and all that. That is how I am spending my entire life. One of the beautiful texts is what is called Taittiriya Aranyakam. And the Taittiriya Aranyakam is full of astronomical information. Very beautiful to listen, of course, in the morning, the Aruna Prashna and all that is said, very beautiful. But Aruna Prashna questions how to fix up the seasons. Any physicist, any intellectual will say, how do these seasons change? They say it is due to sun and all that. Today we say, 5,000 years back, they should have worried about it so much. And the season is not a switch, that today is summer, tomorrow is the winter or monsoon. It is gradually changing. So they wanted something to fix up. And that is how even later the Siddhantic astronomers say, it is a Kala Nirnaya Shastra. Jyotisha is only Kala Nirnaya Shastra. Valita Jyotisha and all that is later on. That is all actually our Shastras. That means inferior Shastras. The superior Shastra is Ganita. And that is the Kala Nirnaya. Kala is all. That is the philosophy. Finally, when it comes to Brahman or whatever, Kalam Brahmeti Upasita will show you. And that talks about precision, that mantra actually. So, in the Taittiriya Aranyaka, there are many such things which come. This is about the how to fix up the seasons. He says in the Varsha Rutu, people are going to have red eyes, and there is going to be a lot of problems with their health and all that. Then you know that the monsoon season has come. That is how it starts telling. And he says in the Himanta Rutu, there is going to be the sky Rudraganas. Rudragana in the sky, what it can mean? It is a shower of meteorites. It is the Alpha Taurid and the Beta Taurid. At 6 months interval, he says. At 6 months interval, this Rudragana will be visible, one red, one white. And this can only be kind of initial period of celestial observation. And making meaning out of it, the people on earth, they imagine, our Vedic people, that this sky and the earth are together. It's not just totally separated out. So that cosmological unity is what they were feeling, and that feeling brought to earth. And what else is there? There is a reference to Meru. This Meru is important because it's important not only to Hindus, but the Jains and Buddhists also use the Meru. It is an axis which links Earth with actually the North Celestial core, Dhruva. For us, that is the important thing. Whereas the Jains and Buddhists in their text, they don't use Dhruva. Because when they wrote their text, there was no Dhruva. There was no pole star at the tip. Whereas in Vedas, they did have when they wrote this or when they composed this. Now, how do I believe that? That's the next question. Did they look at the stars? Did they identify some? After all, we believe Dhruva was the son of Uttanapada, so he was a human being, he was a king, he was a prince. This is what this story later on in Vishnu Purana and Brahmana, not Brahmana, only in Vishnu Purana, it comes like that. That is what our mothers and grandmothers have told us. So how do I link it? It's possible they were human beings. Somebody would have observed it, some human agency. But did they identify them as stars with some people on earth is the next question. We talk of Saptarshi. Saptarshi, we say Atri, Guru, Utsa, Vasishta, that is, we say that they became stars. If you take it in a simple, rational manner, some people, very exalted people like us were living, 7 of them. After their period was over, they identified these people have become stars because a very firm belief, even to this day in our country, is people become stars after their death. They go to sky as stars, and later on they may come back again. Again, Bhagavad Gita and Uttarayan, Marga, Dakshina, so many other things are there. They come back through Rhine and everything, they get on the same arc. That is the broad concept. I will again not go into the details of that, because that is actually a Archaeo astronomical information is contained even in that portion. Now, clearly, Taittiriya Aranyaka says, Rishaya sapta atrischayat sarve atrayo agastescha nakshatrehi shankruto avasan. This is the Taittiriya Aranyaka. That means the 7 rishis and Agastya. Agastya is the key here. These 8, they are living now as stars or with these stars. However you may. So that means the human beings, human rishis, they became stars. And those stars, today if I want to call them, you can link, you can get a chronological information between this. Now Agastya is very important because Agastya is not seen always. Here is another important information which comes from modern astronomy due to precision. Because Canopus, Agastya is in the southern hemisphere, below the equator, and people above the equator, that is very much above north, they can't see Agastya at all, unless they go to the southern hemisphere. Whereas people in India, were just near the equator, they can see it. Tamil Nadu people would have seen it already. Now, an astronomer from Hyderabad, Professor Iyengar, very famous man, he is no more, was interested in Indian astronomy very much. He was professor at Bombay and Hyderabad. He worked out first, this in 2005, he published. He showed that Agastya could have been visible near Delhi, that is in the Kurukshetra region, nearly around 3000, 3500 BC. Before that he could not have come, because due to precision he would not have seen. So if I assume that the Taittiriya Aranyaka and these texts were composed in the Purupanchala region, most probably around 3000 BC you would have been seen. Would have seen even 100 years earlier, that question cannot be related, but not 10,000 BC. 10,000 BC only Tamil Nadu people could have seen, that is here Kerala and these people could have seen, not in the north. is very important. Not only that, North in Greece, in Athens, even today he cannot be seen. Canopus cannot be seen. Rome and Italy, 41.9 degrees latitude cannot be seen. Only people living south of 34 degrees north can see even today Canopus. Only for 3 months, August to November also can be seen. August to February can be seen, not otherwise. Damascus it was possible. That is the Babylonians could have seen, Babylonians have recorded. Agastya, in fact, Canopus they have identified. Don't know whether it's exactly Canopus or not, but the Western, some of the historians of science have identified that should have been Canopus. We can come to that later. Now, why I am showing this, I worked on this through a book called Parashara Tantra, which was published 3 years back. I've been working on this in IAC. IAC gives a lot of freedom. That means, even though I do my work, I can do other work, they won't question until I go to work, not getting into political issues and troubles. So, I've been working on this and we published it only recently. And a very famous person from IAC, Professor Narasimha, was an FRS and is a very learned man, both in Sanskrit and modern science. He came to release the book and all that. Now, Parashara says Agastya rises when Hasta Nakshatra was in the east. I will not touch on this, but it's only briefly mentioning. And this Parashara can be dated because of that 2300 BC. Because only in 1300 BC, Canopus rose somewhere in the Kurukshetra region when Corvus, that is Hasta Nakshatra, was rising in the east. That is the statement which is given in the text itself. Now, with this background information, we can look at our Dhruva. Because this way of looking at our Sanskrit text is very important. We should not simply say because a word is in Pullinga, it should be a demon or it should be a devata or something of that kind. We should not do that. Now, this Taitiriya Aranyaka, after this Agastya, gives a mantra called in the part called the Swadhyaya Brahmana. Swadhyaya Brahmana is very important for even today. People use it for meditation and all that. And particularly the very orthodox people used to repeat it in the evening after the science and the Avandanam, looking at the north. So this is Yasmai Namaha Tachiro Dharmo Murdhanam Brahma Uttara Hanuhu Yajno Adara Vishnu Hridayam. Please recollect this because we will come to this Vishnu Hridayam. The Shankaracharya quotes this later on. All the Acharyas have quoted this. And the Samvatsara Prajananam. Then Ashwino Purvapado, Atrir Madhyam, Mitravarno, Aparapado, Agni Puchasya, Prathamam Kandam. Pucha is, you can see, this easily it is the type. First part is Agni, Tata Indraha, Tataha Prajapati, Abhayam Chaturtha. The fourth is Abhaya. Who is this Abhaya? In the next part it is explained. This is made of 14 stars. You can count them. That Chiraha, Dharmaha, like that you can one after another count 14 stars are there. I just listed here the Purana names also, because the Purana thing also I am going to show you later. There is only one or two difference. Dharma and Uttana Pada is given as the Aparja, whereas here it is not Uttana, it is actually Brahma is going to be there. That's all the difference. But anyway, later legends equate, Uttana Pada also became a Brahma, a Manvantara, whatever. That is another story. So what does it say? Sava Yesha Divya Shakvaraha Shishumaraha. This is the mantra itself. I am not quoting anything, not the Vakhyana. So the mantra says, what I said previously is the Divya Shakvara, it is the celestial animal, and that is Shishumara. Shishumara is actually a whale or a dolphin, or you can call it a gharian, something like a crocodile kind of figure. There is a dragon, modernly it is called dragon. And Sa Evam Veda Apamrityuhu Jayati, this is of course the Kala. And finally it is again Dhruva Tvamasi, Dhruvasya Kshitamasi, Bhutanam Adhipatirasi, Bhutanam Shreshtosi, Tvam Bhutani Upaparyavartante. That is the important. All the Bhutas go around you. This was picked up in the Purana. They made an astronomical theory out of it because Dhruva is fixed. This is the celestial pole. Around that all the stars are going. That's very simple. And this became the astronomical theory originally. Later on, due to precision, that changed. That is another matter. So this was the fixed Dhruva, and this fixed Dhruva, which was called Abhaya originally in the previous slide, is equated with Dhruva. Abhaya is fearless. It is the Dhruva, without any fear, who went to the forest when he was only 6 years old and did tapas for 12 years. Is the fearless Abhaya, and that Abhaya is the Dhruva. That was picked up by the Puranas later on. Now, okay, I have covered this, I will skip this. Now, this is a modern figure. Today, if you see any planetarium software, those stars are still in the sky, they cannot go anywhere else. So, the 14 stars are joined, it is called the Draco or the dragon. So, they picture it like a dragon. Whereas, this is the bear or the Saptarshi. Actually, Saptarshis were called originally Riksha, even in India. Shatapada Brahmana says they were known as Riksha. Riksha is a Karadi, that is bear. So this is the bear, but the 7 were identified, and Taittiriya Aranyaka says these 7 are in the sky now. That is after that period they have gone to the sky as stars. So the name Riksha fell off from our terminology. We started calling Saptarshi as the mandala. Now this is again the same thing what I am showing here. So this was perfectly at the center, the celestial pole, the Draco. This was the Dhruva. And you can see there are 14 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 more, 11, 12 is the 14. There are 14 stars. The names, now this number 14, once again the same thing, just to recollect what I said. To the precision of the equinoxes, these celestial pole, the stars are changing. Today we are having the current Dhruva. I can call him the Dhruva, no problem. To our children I can show this as the Dhruva, that is not a problem. But we should recollect. This is the only culture which has had the luxury of 2 pole stars. We are the only culture in the world who can count 2 pole stars. This is the pole star. We should not forget this pole star. And this thing has been imbibed into the culture through legends and through practices. Now, if you try to name the stars, roughly Vishnu comes here. This is the Vishnu Hridayam comes here. The Ashwina Purvapada comes here. This is the Dhruva. There is one small star here next to Dhruva. The Veda doesn't talk of this. Purana talks of that. That is his mother, Suniti. So because Suniti got the boon that you also stay with your son till the world remains like that. Now, if we hypothesis agree to this, give a question. Up to 1500 AD, you said the astronomers, the Siddhantic astronomers, they put a Dhruva Matsya. Did they not talk of Shishupana? Did they not talk about this at all? They were all Vedic scholars, no doubt. Did they not know that? Or also between 3000 BC of Taittiriya Aranyaka and the later, when there was no pole star, did our people not wonder about it? Or was all the Vedas over in 3000 BC? No. There is perfect evidence to show that they continue to observe this sky. We come to another Vedic text called Maitreya Aranyaka. This Maitreya Aranyaka is very, very important. Maitreya Upanishad also is there. And the concept of Brahman and those things is extremely important for philosophers and others. There are various translations, good, bad, everything is under that. Now, Maitreya Aranyaka starts Sarvan Chedam Kshayishnu Pashyamo Damsha Mashaka Yatha Ime Damsha Mashaka. It starts like you can easily understand. He says the king, Brihadrata, goes to the Muni Shakyan and asks, Sir, everything in this world looks so transient, as though we are like Damsha, like this. That is like a mosquito, everything is going to be so transient. And he describes that. Everything he says, and then finally he says, he asks the reason. Maharnavanam Shekarinam Prapatana. The big things are falling down. And then Dhruvasya Prachalanam. Even Dhruva is moving. So you can see his sadness of the king. Even Dhruva is moving. And what happens due to that? Vadarajuna Nimajjana. See, it is the Vadarajus who are holding from the Dhruva to the stars. That is the theory in the Puranas also. Later on also, Aryabhatta and others accepted the same theory. They are Nimachanam, they are decreasing because once it rotates like this, new stars come up. The planets in the original position, you can't see them with reference to a tree or a hill or whatever. So he says they are all Nimachanam, they are all going down. Prithivya Stana Apasarana. There are earthquakes are occurring, or maybe the Bhumi itself is moving. I don't know, he asked, what is the reason for this? Okay. Then the question of Brahma and other things comes. And why Dhruva drifts? It's a precision, effect of precision. There cannot be anything else. And the same thing goes further, the Maitrayani Aranyaka, in another place, Kalascha he says, Atha Anyata Upayuktan, Vasya Sarvasya Yoni. Anna is the yoni for everything. Kalascha Annasya. For Anna, Kala is the yoni. Then for Kala, who is the yoni? Surya yoni is by Kalas. It is the sun who is the starting of every time. It is not the moon. Rigveda accepted moon. Of course, the lunar thing will still have it. That is different. Samana Masa Akriti, it started like that. But here they already understood. When was this? Around 1800 BC. The reason is this. He describes the Rupa of Kala. Tasi Etat Rupam, Kalasya Rupam. Ye Nimeshadi Kala Samvratan Dvadashatmaka 12. Vatsaram Etasya Agneyam Ardhamardham Varunam Magadhyam Shravishthardham. The Shishir Rutu starts with the half of the Dhanishta. That is what he says in this. There are only two ayanas. He doesn't talk about the Rutus here still, but only the Dakshinayana and the Uttarayana. It is a solar zodiac with two divisions. Today we are having a 12-division solar zodiac. They already had a 2-division solar zodiac because it is Surya Yoni by Kalas. Then he gets into all of that. Then he says, Kalam Brahme Tupasita, Kalaha Tasya Atiduram Apasarati Tyeva. So if you meditate on Kala, you understand time, you understand sun and movement of sun, Kala itself will go away from you. So you become a Brahmajnani or Kalatita, you become Kala. That is the meaning of this. But the astronomical information, you can't miss it here. So when did the winter solstice start at the middle of the Dhanishta star? In the Vedanta Jyotisha period, it was Dhanishtadi. And even in some other texts, Dhanishtadi. So taking Beta Delphini as the Dhanishta Nakshatra, and it can be related to later astronomy also, fairly well it is established starting from S.B. Dikshe, time who wrote on Indian astronomy, and Balachandra. 1400 BC is reasonably accepted, 1300, 1400. There are people who question it for some other reason, but large number of evidences say that Vedanta Jyotisha Lagadas, not the printed book or the written book, but the original thing should have been there. Now this is half nakshatra before, that is 7.5 degrees before, because each nakshatra is 13 degrees 20 minutes. So 1 degree would be about 72 years. So already about 400 years before that. That's about 1800, 1600, 1800. Error can be plus or minus 200 years in this. In that period, Dhruvasya Prachalanam, he questions. So how did he know that? Because the original Dhruva would have moved, then only he would have known. And this was made into a model in the Puranas. I will come to the Puranas quickly. This is the Brahmanda Purana. I believe Brahmanda Purana is the original Purana because there is no sectarian issues in Brahmanda Purana. There are no also horoscopic rashis in Brahmanda Purana. So it belongs to a older period. And the Dhruva's legend is given as a story, as an information, but not as a story of a human king. The human king and the sun and all that comes in the Vishnu Purana. Today what we follow is Vishnu Purana mostly. But Brahmanda Purana gives it directly. And I will not go into all the details. This text is actually a text in ancient physics. There is nothing else. You can see. Bhuta sammohanam etat vadato me nibodhata pratyakshamapi drishyanja sammoheti et prajaha. You can see that even then, people get they feel sammoheti, they get attracted. What is that? Yoyam chaturdisham shaishumare vyavastitaha uttana pada putrosau medi bhuto dhruvo divi sabai brahmayate nityam chandradityav grahaisaha brahmantam anugachanti nakshatram cha chakra. So it is very clear that it is the Dhruva who is the son of Uttanapada, who is rotating Surya, Chandra, everything. There is a new theory. Keeps on going like this. And Astodayo Tatotpata Ayane Dakshinottare Vishuvat Agrahanascha Dhruvat Sarvam Pravartate Varsha Dharmo Himam Ratri. Everything is due to Dhruva. Sun is also due to Dhruva, season is due to Dhruva. And he also gives a model for that. So Tailapida Yata Chakram Brahmato Brahmayanti. So they were not satisfied in only telling this. You want a model, a physical model like a physics or an engineer wants it today. He also said that. And what happened to this? He doesn't stop there. He wants to show where is that Dhruva, how to identify him. Yavatyashchaiva taraha ta shishuma rashrita devi. All the stars are also Shishuma rashrita. Because Dhruva is in Shishumara. Who is the Shishumara? And he also said, because I come to this shloka, because Al-Baruni comments on this shloka. That's why I want to know. Tavantevata varshani jivata abhyadhikaritu. What he says is, you have to know Shishumara correctly. There are 14 stars. 14 stars are listed here. Autana Padha Tas Sakara Shishumarascha Vijñeya Pravibhagasha. You have to understand it from part by part. Autana Padha Tasyata Vijñeya. Uttaraman, I will not go into the details. Same thing. And Pucho Agni Mahendrashcha Marichaha Kashyapo Dhruvaha Tarakaha Shishumarasya Nastam Yanti Chatushtayam. You also have to know these 4 stars, they don't set. The other 10 they can set sometime. But these 4 stars don't set. This is circumpolar stars. They were used for navigation actually. From the most ancient period, from the period of the Panchavamsha Brahmana, I will show you, there is time, that mantra also. So they don't set. These are circumpolar stars, they understood. And he also says there are 14 stars of this, you have to know this. If you know these 14 stars, you will live for 14 years extra. That is the Palashruti also here. And it is very important that one has to know. The 2 models are given. One is this chakra, that is a potter's wheel. What he wants to say is, Dhruva is sitting here. Even though he is rotating already, but in the same place. Because in the Brahmanda Purana period, Dhruva was slightly drifted and he was rotating there. So he is Brahmayan, Brahmayati. He also rotates, he rotates others also. If it is fixed, he can't rotate. That is the trouble. So he was already rotating at that time. And this is the model he gives. Look, you can rotate, but he can be fixed here and rotate. Then the other one, this is Tailapida. The Tailapida is very clear. This is the Medi, this is the Dhruva. So the Dhruva, in this, the bullocks make it rotate. There, he makes the bullocks rotate by rotating here. From the top, he does like this. That is what the model, the Brahmanda Purana says. Now, you decide for yourself. Did they know the Dhruva? Did they know precision or not? That is the key issue. So, Vishnu Purana, I will not go into the detail. I can take, you have to tell me if I have to stop somewhere. You can go for some more time. Okay. So, Vishnu Purana also same thing, except he says, 11 o'clock you want to break. You tell me. Okay. Okay. Fine. Break for 30 seconds. But they can go, whoever wants to go. I will continue. So the Vishnu Purana tells the story for that. And you know the story. And Suniti has to remain with her son lifelong. And that is the other star which I showed in that picture. Now, you can raise arguments on this. Physicists look into this in greater detail. Not this kind of work, but the previous, the Egyptian and other kinds of things. And I will come to the Jacobi and others argument also towards the end. They will say that after Thuban left the pole, K. Draconis was the, could have been the North Pole star, 85 degrees, in 1300 BC as the 15th star. Yeah, it's possible. Puranas could have been written even during that period. No objection on that. I am particular about the Vedic thing what I showed. Because the Purana period is already moving. So you will also read Kokab. Kokab is a star which is beta, alpha, Ursamai. I'm sorry, beta Ursamai. today it's something like that. That would have been the thing, because this was the argument put up by Winternitz and Keith. That's why I showed it. It could not have been, because it was already 7 degrees, so it never came near the pole, nearer than 7. 7 degrees would be something like 14, you can say moon. Moon is about half. So you can see there had to be 14 of them. That's almost impossible. Anybody would have recognized actually this thing. Because even in 1800 BC, Maitrayani Aranika recognizes already Dhruva is moving. Now once again the same figure which I am showing. This is the Agni, this is the Indra, this is the Prajapati, this is the Abhaya. These 4 stars, they do not set. They are the circumpolar stars. You will know they are circumpolar, some of them. Their circumpolarity gets lost if you come to the south. As you come to the south, their circumpolarity gets lost. This was possible, and Suniti is here. It's a small star nearer to Dhruva. Now, what are the other information we have got in between? Because I am coming already from 3000 BC, that is the 4th millennium BC. I had to come to my present period, 2nd millennium AD. So it's a very long period. So the concept of the Meru mountain is found in the Mahabharata. Already it is in the Taittiriya Archaeo. Jaina and Bauddha texts, they all used it, starting from the Taittiriya Archaeo period, because Dhruva was at the tip of the Meru. So constellation Shishumara was remembered by some people. They slowly started forgetting the constellation, but they remembered the legend of Dhruva as something. So it is the ideas which remain. It is the visible objects, once they fade away, we also tend to forget it. Shishumara constellation is totally forgotten. Nobody even bothers about Shishumara. But the ancients, they did. And Mahabharata also says, Dhruva prajwalito goram apasavyam pravartate. Now somebody asked me about Arundhati. How do you interpret Dhruva prajwalito goram apasavyam pravartate? In 5000 BC, was it possible? There was no Dhruva actually at that time. You go to before 3000 BC, again there was no Dhruva. So if they had to have a concept of Dhruva and then say prajwalito goram apasavyam pravartate, they should have had a Dhruva concept 27,000 years before. That is because the one full cycle would have taken. Now if you say that, somebody in Madras argued with me, that 27,000 years before they should have known it, because you are talking only about the principal solution, because we know in mathematics sin theta equal to 0 means theta can be equal to plus or minus 2 by n, n0 also included, n 1, 2, 3, everything. The argument is, if you go to 27,000 years, 27,000 BC, whatever, up to 5,000 BC, what happened to the text? What happened to the information? That also I should be able to say that. We are not able to say that. That is why the probable argument would be that during the Mahabharata period in 2nd millennium BC, if you take it, when it's a different matter, 1800 or 1400 or 1500, does not matter, then Dhruva moving would make sense, not otherwise. In fact, we see there is a big publication, Cultural Heritage of India, and also from Bharati Vidyapal, series of books on history of India, 7 volumes. They say Mahabharata, this has no meaning, because how can Dhruva be moving? Somebody, Dandekar or some Sanskrit scholar has written that. They thought Dhruva is fixed always, infinite time, negative to positive, it should be fixed. That is not true. And after all, Mahabharata, they saw this guy visibly, and they wrote what they found objectively. And one more interesting thing, if you have read Mahabharata carefully, you would see this, the Draupadi Vivaha. In the Draupadi Vivaha, there was a Matsya Yantra and they had to shoot and all that. That we have, you know this story. Where did it happen? Drupada built a new town for her. And that is here. Tataha Purujana Sarve Sagarodhuta Nisvanaha Shishumarapuram Prapya Nevishan Teshapati. They went to Shishumarapura. What is the Shishumarapura? Prabhuttarena Nagarat Bhumivage Sameshube Samajavataha Shishube Bhavanaihi Sarvato Vata. This Shishumarapura in the northeast direction. not in northern direction. To the Drupada's capital, he built it. The history will forget it. But the astronomy is very clear. During that period, Shishumara was in the northeast direction, not in the north. Even today, it is more to the northeast, not to the north. It is the effect of precision. Then there is also the story of Nahusha in Mahabharata. Nahusha's story is so well known. He fell down on the earth as Ajagara. That is, Ajagara is a serpent. And what happened? Why did he fall down? It was due to two people. One is the Saptarshi group, the other is the Agastya. He kicked the Agastya because Agastya was too slow. And Agastya then gave the Shapa, they fell down. The Saptarshis are in the north, Agastya is in the south. Both are important as Nakshatra as per Taittiriya Aranyaka. Agastya rises only sometime during the year, and it is a directional principle. It is not only Kala Nirnaya, Dik Nirnaya also they were interested in doing it. So this Dik Nirnaya and Kala Nirnaya together is a precision legend. And Nahusha obviously fell down, that is Shishumara. He got a new name as Nahusha. That is a serpent. In fact, the name serpent is used for Draco even in other cultures because it looks like a serpent. Now let me skip this. I gave you that here, the information. In Persia, Draco is known as almost like a serpent, like Ajagara. Deza something to mean serpent. Well, anyway, skip this. Now there are still other texts, ancient texts. For example, Panchavimsha Brahmana was mentioned. Panchavimsha Brahmana has a hymn called Sharkar Saman. This Saman is supposed to be sung when somebody wants to get into a boat. That is the mantra to be used. And there is a story that Shishumara was originally a rishi. He was submerged in the sea and he laughed at Indra. He did not do a composition on Indra. So Indra put a curse on him. And that curse was he was lying on the sand. Then he praised Indra. Then he went inside the ocean. And that mantra has to be said for crossing of the ocean is the individuals. They would have used this Shishumara because it had circumpolar stars for navigation. That is the meaning. And it's also called a Nama mantra, something is there for that. Now, Atharva Veda Parishishta, in 300 BC, it clearly says Shishumarena Saita Dhruvena cha Mahatmana Pulasya Pula Soma. These are the stars which are there in the various parts of the sky it describes. And Shishumara along with Dhruva is there. Then Bhadrabahu Samhita of the Jaina tradition about 300 BC, about Ketuchara, then Parasar Tantra, Vruddhagarbha Samhita. This is the manuscript form which I am right now working on. This is an astronomical book belonging to 500 BC also, 500, 300, roughly. Very little information is there on astronomy. But better than the later Jyotisha Samhitas. And Brihad Samhita more or less copies. He mentions Varahmira in many places. His commentator Utpala quotes from Vruddhagarbha and Parashara. In fact, from his quotation only I constructed the Parashara Tantra book. I want to often possible to present a copy of the Ashram. There also Shishumara is mentioned. Shishumara and Dhruva. I'll let us skip this. Now, Bhagavata also has more or less the same, but there is a change. So, if you are interested in Indological studies, chronology, not becoming too emotional on our Puranas, but put them, they are all great. I mean, I am a very traditional man. There is very great information in them. But there are also additions and alterations which have been done in this. So, the original thing may be very old, but later things are many. And what does Bhagavata say? Bhagavata in this place is more or less like a prose. And the prose part is actually considered more ancient than the verse part, which are in the verse part. There is a rough thumbru, not exactly, but it's a thumbru. But it says, Tasmat Trayodash Laksha Yodhana Antaryata Vishnu Parama. They want to fix up where is Vishnu Parama. And finally you can see, I will not read all of this. Kechanaihi Tajyotihi Anikam Shishumara Samsthanena Bhagavato Vasudevasya Yoga Dharanayam Anuvarnaya. Kechana Yoga Dharanayam Anuvarnaya. Some people in their yoga meditation, they picture the whole thing as Shishumara, the whole planetary circle as Shishumara, including Saptarshi, including the Dhruva, including all other stars. That is not an astronomical information. And if you read this, the planets in Bhagavata are rotating not due to Dhruva. It is rotating due to Kala. Kala is rotating them is what Bhagavata says. So already there is a shift in the thinking, and this is also a shift in the thinking. So okay, I am now more or less coming to my end of the Puranas and other things. So what is Shishumara? How do you interpret it? You take it as a porpoise, you take it as a whale, take it as Garial, but it is not the Indo-Gangetic porpoise. It is not the Gangetic porpoise of Griffith and others who translated Rigveda like that. Because Shishumara comes also in the Rigveda, but not as in this form, but it comes in a very cryptic form. I don't know whether time permit me to do that. But anyway, you can take it as an animal form. That form is important. I am repeating this for two reasons. If you read the history of astronomy, you would see in every book, including those written by our people, Narlikar and others on history of astronomy, they'll say zodiac, the solar zodiac was not known to be used. That is the number one. What is solar zodiac? You have to have those things which look like Mesha, like Vrishabha, this, that. That Akriti was taken from the Greek and then superposed here, and then the horoscopic things and the other stuff. Horoscopic things are later. I mean, I am convinced about it. But these forms, why should they be? Riksha they knew, bear. They gave a later name Saptarshi. That is not their fault. That was for some reason. They knew Shishumara. That was a animal kind of figure, and they refer to Mriga Akritis in several other ways. For example, Mriga Shirsha. That's again the name. When it looks like that, so you cannot say that it was all borrowed from the Greek. That would be an exaggeration. At the same time, you cannot say everything is in the Veda. That is another extreme exaggeration. Truth lies somewhere in between, and that is perfectly logical, perfectly intellectual, perfectly understandable both logically as well as spiritual. Because they were interested in Kala. They wanted to understand Kala, they had to do all of this. They could have closed their eyes, closed their nose and done everything. There are people like that also, I am sure. But others took their trouble so that their future generation can know about it, And the Puranikas, they wrote it in story form so that today we can analyze it and see that. That is the important thing. That is the great thing about it, the culture. Now, I think I have given you what I wanted to say. The details are available in my work. What does other Puranas say? Somebody is interested in doing research, he can do all of this. What does Linga Purana say? What does other Purana? Why Purana? Slowly Purana started forgetting even Dhruva. In many of the later Puranas, the Brahma Purana, the one shloka would be there, it seems like that, but then nothing else would be there. Then he goes to some other kind of thing. So if you want to sequence the Puranas, there are some information, chronological information that would be there. Now, all this is important for one more purpose. This gave the intellectual foundation for our Siddhantic astronomers and mathematicians. The Vedanga Jyotisha, Parashara, Vruddhajarga, later the Brahma Siddhanta, Soma Siddhanta coming to Purastya, Pancha Siddhantika, then Aryabhata. Aryabhata is perfectly fixed. That is how the modern day things start, the Siddhantic astronomy. What was the basis? They had two important things. One was the Dhruvaka. Dhruvaka is the polar coordinate, with reference to the pole. They had two, Kshepa and Dhruvaka, they used two of the coordinates. How did they get the name Dhruvaka? There was no Dhruva star. They knew the globe. They had the Dhruva used as the pole point. Like today I would say there's a globe and this is the pole. I don't call this fixed, I call it pole. But what is the meaning of the pole in English? It is a stick. What was that stick? It was a meru. So they took up that word to indicate the point pole. Whereas we took up the word Dhruva, which is better, which is fixed. The Jainas and Buddhas also took the pole, that is the Meru. Whereas the Westerners took the pole and they were stuck to that word, at least in English. I don't know in other language how it is. Now, our Siddhantic astronomers took Dhruva and they took one more. That is, all Siddhantic texts have one chapter, Agastya Char. No. Why did they were interested in Agastya? If everything was from Greece, the Greek did not know about Agastya. They did not work out about Agastya. And why did these people work on Agastya? That was because Taittiriya Aranyaka gave that. Parashara Tantra said that Agastya rises when Nakshatra is in the east. Vrudagarga said that. And Agastya Char is a chapter in all the texts, you can see that. And they want to calculate when Agasthyodaya happens. And Agasthyodaya is still in North an important festival even today, Agasthyodaya. Not so much Agastya Asta, but Agasthyodaya in Bengal and other places is still observed. Why did they do? They had the background from the Vedic period. Now I come to our own period, that is around 1100 AD. Al-Biruni in his India writes this, you can read it yourself. He says, he laughs at the Hindus. Hindus are intelligent people, he was interested in the astronomy of Brahmagupta and all that. There is no problem. He says, they tell ludicrous stories about, ludicrous tales, speaking of the figure fish, in which they say, figure of a 4-footed aquatic animal is there, which they call Shakvara and also Shishumara. I suppose that the latter animal is the lizard. Great lizard is the name given in Persia is called Shishumar. This great lizard is actually the constellation, they call it the lizard, as they are so. And that is called in old Persian Shishumara. He also says that. Of this kind there is so many other things it goes on. Then he also says the pole itself is Vishnu, they say, ruler of the inhabitants. He is further the time rising, growing, getting old, vanishing, everything. So Hindus believe like this, it is actually the fish, he says. Fish was known to Brahmagupta, already I said, Dhruva. If the Hindus whom he knew, they mistook, as according to Al-Biruni, they thought that pole star was in Shishumara. What is the meaning of it? So they remembered a older pole star, even though the present pole star was different, so they did not bother, but the Vedic Hindus, they remembered. Now you see Sayana Bhasha and Bhattavaskara Bhasha, he says, I didn't read that for lack of time. After the Taittiriya Aranyaka, after the Sandhya Vandanam, you turn to the North, look at the Dhruva Mandala, and do the dhyana, and this mantra is what Sayana says there. It is in the 14th century. Now, Al-Biruni was a very intelligent person. He also translated, is not known to many people, Yoga Sutra he translated, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. This was brought back from the Persian translation into English very recently in 1983. And by Pines and Gelboom, they added these two names as co-authors, separated several centuries away, just to give credit to them, so that this is connected with them. People should get interested. So what is this? Because it is a work of Al-Biruni, but Al-Biruni himself translated Patanjali. What does he say? Sutra 3.2, Dhruve Tadgati Jnanam. What is Dhruva here is the question. In fact, if you see the commentaries which are available, Vyasa Bhasha and other things, it is all wrong according to me. Astronomically it is wrong. You can say Dhruve Tadgati Jnanam. Tadgati Jnanam Tasya Gatihi. Tasya Gatihi Kasya Dhruvasya Gatihi. That's all. That is what, in fact, Al-Biruni takes it. Al-Biruni takes it as the movement, as the Dhruva, but he mistook this Dhruva for the fish. See, the text is about Dhruva which is in the Shishumara. He mistook it for the Dhruva which is in the fish during his period. So that was the mistake. So everything is jumbled up even according to him. But you can see through this. Whereas the commentators who were living at a later period, they did not know which was this Dhruva. So they said it was the previous sutra is about the stars, moon and others. So if you do on the Dhruva, you will understand the movement of the stars and sun and moon is what the Bhashikaras have said on that, which is not necessary. It is actually this. So during Patanjali's period, or during this Patanjali, I don't know which Patanjali, not the Mahabhashya Patanjali, nor the Ayurvedic Patanjali, it should be some other Patanjali. He was in the first millennium BC. I'm sorry, maybe in the second millennium BC, somewhere in that period. But, sorry? Yogadakara should have been older because of this, that is my argument anyway. I can't establish it here. Okay, so he criticized he says Vishnu Dharma. Actually it's the Vishnu Purana, where he says if a man reads and knows accurately the 14 stars, he will be giving 14 years extra and all that. Now he makes fun of that, let's forget it. Now I already covered this in the beginning, I will not talk about it. But in the 15th century, Dhruva in Astronomy, Dhruva Yantra Padmanabha, he constructed a yantra to know time. And this is available, you can see in the museums. And also Bhaskara, Brahmagupta and all of them, they are referred to Dhruva. They are very careful, they don't talk of Shishupara, they don't touch it. But Dhruva, where they use Dhruvakai they use, they don't do anything more. No. Come to a period, Vishnu Sahasranama, great Vishnu Sahasranama, I am sure it is going to be repeated here also. Every day we do Nakshatra Namir Nakshatri Kshama Kshamasya. What is the meaning of Nakshatra naming? One of my teachers told me, look into that word carefully, you will understand it. I had not done that. But later on, when I read the Bhashya, this is the Shankara Bhashya. So Nakshatra Tarakai Sardam Chandra Suryadeyo Grahaha Vayupasha Mayir Bandaihi Nibaddha Dhruva Sanyake. Then what else? Sa Jyotishan Chakram Brahmin Taramayasa Shishumarasya Ucha Deshe Vyavastito Dhruva. This is Shankaracharya said. Tasya Shishumarasya Hridaye Jyotish Chakrasya Nemit Pravartakaha Stito Vishnu iti Nakshatra Nemi. That is the meaning of the word Nakshatra. Shishumara Varnale Vishnu Hridayam Taitira Aranyake, which I already posted. So Vishnu Hridayam is the word which is taken from the Shruti, and this is the explanation. On this there is a Vivrti by Tarka Brahmananda Saraswati, published, available. He goes to further extent. Tarka Brahma was living somewhere in the 16th century. So it is very important for us to know what our traditional people identified as Dhruva. What Albaruni said, what Siddhanta people said is another matter. What our people said, Shankaracharya was very clear. It is in the Shishumara. Now his commentator says, further, Brahmin Tara Mayase Tat Punjatmutasya Shishumara Chakrasya. Shishumara, what is Shishumara? Jalajantu Vishesha Sarata Bodha Yakara. He wants to say that this Shishumara doesn't look like Shishumara anymore. It is Sarata Bodha. That is like a garden lizard. No, the long garden lizard. It looks like a garden lizard. And Jyotish Chakram and all that. Tasya Puche Unnamita Puchagre Vyavastitaha Dhruva. In the raised tip is Dhruva standing, he wants to. Because in the evening you have to look in that direction and meditate after the Sandhya Vandam. That was the important. Now, what are the other two Acharyas say? In the Ramanuja tradition, Parasara Bhatta, in the 12th century, he wrote a commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama. Not only Nakshatra name, he takes Tavishta also as fixed, referring to the Taittiriya Aranyaka. Nakshatra name also has that. Again, Dharma, everything is related to Tasya Puche Dhruva Sthita iti Vishnu Purana. He gives Vishnu Purana, but Vishnu Purana goes back to the Taittiriya Aranyaka. So it is varied. Even in the Madhvacharya tradition, as late as 18th century, Raghavendra Surya wrote, he also quotes Shishumara Varnane Vishnu Hridayam iti Swadhyaya Brahmane Shruyate. So this is the important thing. And with all this, we have a great culture. During marriage, you have to show Dhruva to the bride. You go to the interesting story now. And the Indological discussions and controversies start there. And you can see even today, this is observed. And what is the marriage ritual here? The Sutras, they belong to 500 BC. Because there is the Sutra things. There it comes, I have quoted some of them. It says that Dhruva should be shown in the evening. Two of them, Arundhati is also shown, Dhruva is also shown. And the meaning of this is, I will not read it. Tvam nakshatrana metyasi samapahi pratanitha. Namo brahmane Dhruvaya achyutaya astu. Namo brahmana putraya prajapatiya namaha, etc. etc. And what it says is to the wife, so Swamaraj iti chandramas, okay. Dhruvantua Brahma Veda, etc. Achyutanga Brahma Veda. Here it is. Dhruva Machitam Saputran Saputran Brahmaveda Dhruva Pautra Bhavati. That is, to the wife he says, you should be like the Dhruva fixed in the house, and all people will go around you like the animals go around a tiled pole. That is the simple meaning of that. So everybody is going to follow you. Be fixed like the Dhruva. That is the mantra which the bridegroom has to tell the bride. Now, what was the controversy? Jacobi was 1894, a very intelligent German Indologist. He said that based on the marriage sutra, they should have known a pole star, because otherwise why in 500 BC they would have a mantra which refers to a pole star. So Rigveda should go as far as back as 3000 BC. He contacted astronomers, he calculated, he worked out, and he said that Rigveda at least should go to 3000. Now Balagangadhar Tilak, based on some other thing which is not very strong, he argued it should go to 4000. This was opposed by both Whitney and Keith. Opposed to any hypothesis that makes Rigveda older than 1500 BC. There is the Aryan invasion theory and all that. So what Whitley said, any star which is not too distant, very derisive comment, should have been satisfied both the newly wedded woman and the exhibitor, as though he knew all of this himself. There is no need for assuming the custom handed down by Alpha Draconis, because he says 2 or 3,000 years during which there is no mention of pole star either in the Veda or in the Brahmana. Is it there in the Aranyaka or not? You decide. I will not do it. That fellow did not see that Taitira Aranyaka, or he read that Taitira Aranyaka. I am sure he did not want to agree, he did not want to accept that. In fact, more comments can be written, I will not go into that. Now, what is the other fellow? Keats. See, Keats' book is read even today. I don't know if it is read in this book. The philosophy departments recognize this as a text. It's a Harvard Oriental Press publication. He also argues on this. He argues on the Kritika, Nakshatra, and the Shatapta Brahmana not moving, and hence it should be 3000 BC. Was the argument of both Tilak and Dikshit and several others. He says the pole star Dhruva appears only in the Griha Sutras, and he wants to argue the way he writes is very thick, unbecoming of a scholar. The argument from the pole star assumes an accuracy, the demands of the primitive Indian wedding ritual, which is wholly unnatural. How does he know that is primitive? And this person was living in India. He translated several of the Vedic texts, wrongly translated many of them, absolutely wrong actually, even though because of lack of English translation, better translation, or because our people are not able to read the original, they read the English and then assume that is the correct thing. And he says this, and he also is a little bit careful. He says, it does not appear, and you added that in a footnote in this book, that in no text it comes. If it had come, he would have agreed. That is the meaning of it. But it doesn't. He also wrote an index, a Vedic index, famous Vedic index, MacDonald. He gives the word Shishmara, but he doesn't recognize it as a celestial object. Even though Monier Williams, 80 years before him, in his dictionary added, it is a possible celestial object also, apart from being a wave. This fellow strikes it out, it doesn't include that. But anyway, I think that is very biased. Now, anyway, this is all I have already mentioned about this so many times, I will not go into the details again. The Griha Sutra, the Ekagni Kanda, the mantra actually comes in the Ekagni Kanda of the Yajurveda, which is used in the Griha Sutra. Whereas Keith and others, they did not know the Ekagni Kanda. Ekagni Kanda is actually a Yajurvedic text followed, available in South, not so much in the North. So when the Vedic people, maybe they migrated from the North to the South, those things got lost, the Krishna Yajurveda part got lost. So that part of the Veda was lost. Sorry, sir? Is more popular. Whereas this Ekagni Kanda preserves this mantra is used by all. By all Vedis it is used. But it appears as a text only. So today what has become is the textual research is what is being done. So look into the text and try to interpret it. So people who do the textual research, they don't look at the text, then they say it is not there, it is not there. Now in the Shishumara in the Rigveda also it comes. But it comes as the word Shimshumara, that's all. But Shankara and others, they equate both are same. Sayana also says Shishumara and Shimshumara are same. In fact, the Shimshumara is the Sayana Bhashya given here. Fully celestial. There is no thing which is terrestrial here. Even Sayana Bhashya says the same thing here. The meaning I have given, this is patently a celestial description of a cart being drawn in the sky, to which were yoked Vrishabha and Shishumara. Vrishabhascha Shimshumarascha Yukta. There is a car, there is a chariot which is drawn by two. One, a Vrishabha, a terrestrial animal. Another is a Shimshumara, which is an aquatic animal. Right? How is it possible? You can't imagine anything on earth to be dragged. Now, in fact, Sayana questions that. How is it possible? He says it is due to the Yoga Shakti or so. It has been mentioned like that to describe the Devas. Who are these Devas? They are celestial actually. Whole thing is here. The Ashwins are celestial. Sayana says, Ashwins to show their valor tied such opposing animals to the chariot. Essentially, the poet refers to the constellation Draco. Shishumara is Draco, and the other slightly below, namely the Taurus. You see the sky, below the Shishumara comes Taurus or the Vrishabha. So this was the movement which was happening. So my conclusion is, this is my last slide. If Taittiriya Aranyaka is later than Rigveda, Rigveda should be older because generally it is assumed Rigveda is oldest. Because the Rigvedic mantras are available in the Yajurveda and other later Vedas. Most probably. But whole of Rigveda may not belong to a single period. Rigveda itself might have been composed or available to us as it is for a period of 1,000 years. My feeling is at least more than 500, 600 years. From Agnimila Purohitam up to the end, the 10 mandalas would not have been composed in English. So it belongs to a. Now, that may be even older than 3000 BC. Simply because Taittiriya Aranyaka is 3000 BC. Taittiriya Aranyaka, at least some part knows. Some part may be older there also. Some part may be later. That I don't deny. But the part which says this Swadhyaya Brahmana, which figured, which looked at the sky and described that, that's precisely put around 2800 to 3200 BC. Plus or minus 200 years there. Average 3000 BC. So this is the Yajurveda period. Then the Ekagnikanda and others. The shifting of the Dhruva comes in. So once the shifting of the Dhruva comes, it should belong to 1800 to 1500 BC. Then later comes the Mahabharata period, 1500 to 1300. That is Nahusha moving. Dhruva is also moving. Then Brahmanda and Vishnu Purana. Brahmanda Purana and Vishnu Purana has one celestial statement apart from this. That is, the Vishubha occurs when sun is in Kritika, third point or so, and moon is in Vishaka, some point. I don't remember that. That can happen only in 1350 BC. Actually, a Swiss astronomer by name Dieter Koch is also an astrologer. We have corresponded with him on this. He has pointed this out and he has dated that. So, and he also from this analysis, it belongs to more or less the same thing. Griha Sutras, everybody says 500 BC. The historical period of Buddha, around 500, 600 BC. China also the same thing. You know the Bhadrabahu Samhita to which I refer, it is Varahamihira, after Mahamira, there were a group of people who directly heard it, the Shrutakevalians. So Bhadrabahu was the last Shrutakevali and he wrote his Samhita, even though today it is been added up so many new things are added up. But he also refers to the Shishumara, so roughly 300. Then comes the Siddhantic astronomy period, 180 to 1500. So this is when the Dhruva Matsya and the new pole star started. So Vedantic schools all through this period held ancient Dhruva is only the constellation Shishumara, nowhere else. So this is what I call a scientific naturalism. It is scientific because you observe, you classify, you say it is 14, it looks like an animal, it looks like something else. These are classifications or modeling. Or you say this is like a potter's wheel, or this is like an oil mill. These are all modelings. These are all scientific approaches. Today we do modeling. And numbering. Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3,000, 100, 21, 27? Is 14 in this case. In the Vishwadeva case, which I could not cover today, 3,339 goes into the Dashapurvamasa and other things. And that is actually scientific. And it is all observing the nature. So the whole philosophy, the Vedic philosophy, the Vedic life system, which we have to some extent absorbed or continued, not totally, is actually a scientific naturalism. I don't think this can be called like a monotheistic religion or whatever. I don't know that. People may argue on that. So this kind of behavior is there fully. The summary in conclusion is given. I hope I do have given you a feeling to what I wanted to say, that this particular Shishumara and Dhruva is the foundation of Indian chronology. If you are looking for something which is non-controversial, which can be argued out systematically, which will withstand the onslaught, the Purvapakshas, this is the only one which is available. There is nothing else. All others, okay, there is a secondary thing you can use, either Mahabharata or Vedanta Jyotisha. You can use it as secondary. Even the Puranas, Pargiter has done so much of work. It can be used as secondary or tertiary. But the primary thing is only Veda. That is what our Acharyas have also said. It is exactly true, at least in this case, because Vishnu goes to that. That is the, whether it is Paramapada or Vaikuntha is another matter. Let us not worry about it. But as a celestial thing, following Yaska's principle, that is, the mantras have three interpretations possible. Adhyatma, Adhiyajna and Adhidaiva. This is the Adhidaiva interpretation. Is there. Thank you so much. But this is the Dhruva who inspired and to get into all of this.
Thank you, sir. Now we have time for 2-3 questions. So, questions related to the chronology, Dhruva. Please be seated, sir. Please be seated.
Swamiji, he is showing his hand. You have to put some questions.
First of all, I thank you very much. Your arguments were so compelling. It's quite interesting. Now, this astronomical dating, when you compare it with other methods to arrive at the past, what's the position? So, for example, archaeology is there, then the literary evidence is there. So, for example, some people like Sriram Taragiri and all, he brings out an argument that the Saratni Yuddha and then people, the Greeks and all, they moved out of India, the tribe of Anus. So you are telling that many things are common in Indian and the Greek astronomy and things like that. Is it not possible that the original tribe of those Anus, when they left India, they carried some things, and further some changes would have been made when they were out of India? So for example, the question of Mithras, Rome they say Mithras, in our it is Mithra. Mithra was worshipped in Persia, and the Persian version of Mithraism reached Rome, and after some changes, because it went through Asia Minor, then Syria, and then this, what you call this, as it was 2nd century, there was one Greek scientist, he observed the wobbling of the earth around the axis and things like that, and that is why the Mithra slaying the bull, that story came. With some changes, ultimately it reached Rome. So is it not possible in this case also? So then again, probably the time period, few centuries may shift here or
there. In this case, it could not have come from outside, simply because there is no description of Shishumara in any
sorry. Now what I am telling is that, see that the astronomy, lot of things were taken from the Greeks and all you were telling. So that commonality, if you find in both, could it not have been because it originated in India and when those people left India, they would have made some changes there on their way?
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Is it, roughly it's called the OIT, out of India theory.
Yeah.
Out of India
Theory,
theory.
yeah.
But the main objection, see, there is one thing which you will recognize. The languages, Sanskrit, and many of the European languages, they seem to belong to the same group.
Yes.
That everybody recognizes. We also have to recognize, they also.
Indo-European languages.
The question comes in which direction the flow occurred. Whether the Sanskrit speaking people came from outside into India and then they developed all of this, or whether the Sanskrit speaking people were here and they went out and that is how it was taken. Now, Talageri argues, I have seen some of his things, no doubt, and he also tries to sequence the Rigvedic mandalas and all that.
In general.
Yeah, there are some questions which I arise and discuss with him. It's not very clear to me, just based on Rigveda, you can argue that they went outside. You cannot say that.
This Dasaratni Yuddha, and his
That's
argument is this, that he classifies the internal history, and earliest, according to him, what's the geography? That's what he's saying.
No, that I concede. Dasaratni Yuddha is there and all that, people could have gone up.
Yeah.
But is there any incontrovertible evidence is the question. The evidence means it comes only through numbers. We have to see that. Once there is a statement and there is side by side a quantified statement, there is a qualified statement. The quantified statement carries more weight than the qualified statement. That's how what I'm trying to find out. If he can show that there are something more deeper in that, that people went outside, it can be accepted. I'm not against it. Possible, people would have gone from here outside.
So, according to you, what more he should have shown?
No, I don't know. See, linguistics is the...
To quantify it.
No, I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
He takes the route of linguistics,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Linguistics is not an exact science.
Exactly.
It is
Right.
not an exact
Right.
science. And to fix up chronology based purely on linguistics...
Sorry, if I have understood rightly, what he tries to do is this. See, he decides which mandalas are older and which are newer.
Yeah.
And in the older, he tries to see what's the geography in the older area.
Yeah, I know.
So that is the way. So is it,
Yes, exactly. Now, I have an alternate also of geography.
Yeah.
There is a key word in Rigveda. I have written 2 papers on that. Urina. What is urina is the question. Now, if you have to link the geography of Rigveda, we are drifting from this subject to something else. History and geography are intertwined, particularly ancient age. You cannot separate. So we have to understand what is the geography with reference to today's geography. So if with reference to today's geography, if you see, there is only one key element which can link, that is urina. Because the urina, like this Dhruva, comes from the Rigveda, comes in the Yajurveda, it also comes in the Mahabharata as the region near the Saraswati River. Now, this urina is today the Ran of Kutch. And Ran of Kutch has been recorded as Irenon and Irina, in the Greek Periplus. Periplus is the Erythraean city, he records that. That is the Irina. And that gets connected with the sea. And Ran of Kutch was a sea. So the sea level comes into picture. So in the Rigvedic period, the sea level was higher. Roughly I am telling. So you have to relate all of this with reference to that also. And that is not an easy task. So if we go by linguistics and bring geography through linguistics, many of these things have to be answered. That's what
And that is not being
no,
done.
he has done good
Yeah, very good work.
No, he has done very good work. Been a fantastic counterbalance to what Ritzel and others
Yeah,
have done.
exactly.
And they have to be answered in the same coin. That I consider. But I am not a linguist. I have not looked into that. And as far as I have seen, linguists, see here also what I do, from the present I want to go to the past. That is from the effect, I want to find out the cause. Now we know that from the effect to the cause it is non-unique. Even in Tarka, it is non-unique. You have to find out the cause. There can be several things which will give the same karya, the same effect which may do. Can there be a unique thing? If it is not unique, you have to identify the variation. In science we do that. But in linguists they don't do that. They would say only this word became like this, like
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
But why it should happen?
This changed to that, that
Yeah,
changed
yeah,
to this.
yeah. But that word itself might have come from something.
Something.
So it is very hard.
And the recent excavations in this area, Haryana, Rakhiwadi, Birdana and all,
It shows the Indus.
Probably the picture is changing, that civilization evolved around Saraswati and spread to the west. See, in this case, you see, the archaeologists, because I've spoken to Research India also, and they publish in Nature also.
Yeah.
So they say that for the last 12,000 years, there is no sign of any cultural influx to India.
Correct. The archaeologists are very clear.
Yeah.
They don't agree with the linguists, the AIT. Archaeologists are very
Yeah, because at least in this period there have been no Aryan immigration or something.
In fact, they have dug up the graves and
Yeah.
found out also that there has been no incursion, invasion of Archaeo.
And also about Saraswati, there was a paper published in Nature in
I've
July
seen
15.
that. Saraswati, I'm quite aware of. In fact, Geological Society are also on this Irina I published. I know Shinde quite well. People who are working in this area.
So all those things will not help you to exactly pinpoint the Rigvedic period? Or only astronomical dating is available now?
It is, exact pinpointing is not possible.
Not possible. Within some centuries or something?
Yeah, Rigveda itself is not homogeneous.
Yeah, that is true.
In fact, myself and Talgeri, we had a lot of correspondence on this. I don't think 6th mandala is the earliest. He thinks it's the Bharatvaja mandala.
That's
I
right.
don't think so.
Okay.
The 2nd mandala is the earliest. I have my arguments.
Okay.
There is one very, I think we are drifting to other area, but again astronomical.
Yeah.
It is the Dhumaketu. Now, see the word Dhumaketu comes 7 times in the Rigveda. Why does the word Dhumaketu come? Ketu and Dhumaketu. Now, if you see the Yajnika interpretation, Sayana will simply say Dhumaketu Yasasaha, that is the Agni, the Yajnika Agni is the Dhumaketu, it's called Dhumaketu. Okay, that can be one meaning. But why all Indian, you have to go somewhere, all Indian languages think Dhumaketu is a comet? Actually, it is comet. Ketu Chara, even in Rahanikas, it's only about comets. And which are these comets? They are called Varshaketu, Chalaketu, and all that. Varahamila did not know about comets because he said it cannot be calculated so easily. Telling what Garga Parashara said. That is why I was interested in Parashara. Parashara has clearly said there were 26 comets. Started from the Samplava, that is the flood, first flood. So where all this comes in? And that gets into the Rigvedic period actually. So Dhumaketu in Rigveda is a kind of a comet. And there are comet mentions in the Vedic text also, particularly Adbhuta. Why do they mention about that? They have seen the comets. So if you see from that point of view, the word Ketu does not appear in the 2nd mandala at all. So it appears only in the other mandalas. So you can say that some celestial disturbance. In fact, modern astronomers, particularly in UK and US, one is written a book called The Winter, The Long Winter, Klube and Napier. Napier was the royal astronomer. Klube was a well-known comet astronomer. They have written a book on this. They say that there was a period when the meteoritic showers were in large numbers. There was a burst. And then slowly it deteriorated and there was some asteroid hits on the Earth. And we know today, there is so much of talk that if an asteroid hits, there is going to be a civilization lost. Now, such a kind of possibility is possible if you read the Rigvedic text very closely. Rigvedic text, in fact, sir, I have written this very extensively, that is comet and meteoritic showers in Rigveda. There is extensive description of meteoritic showers. And they count the meteors, like the Maruts. Maruts are actually not the winds. They later on became the wind star, rain star. Originally, they were the meteoritic stars. Because they were counted as 7, they were counted as 49, they were also counted as 108 in 5 places. And they are also told the Skandati, they are the Skandas, they are the Skanda that are gliding down. And this comes in the Mahabharata as Kartikeya, the Kritika Nakshatra. That is the Taurid comet. It's a comet. And this comet actually Klube and Napier, in fact we corresponded with Napier, that this could have been in the Taurid belt. There are so many objects are there in the Taurid group. Asteroids, comets, and dust particles and all that. if they catch up into they come in various orbits. If they follow the ecliptic by chance, because they have to come out and then follow it, then it can intersect the path of there. There will be a Shavarana, cannot help it. And 60,000 Valakiliyas who are there, we mentioned in the Mahabharata. These 60,000 Valakiliyas, they fell in the Irina region near Saraswati region. And they made 66,000 openings. And it says now only one is remaining. And Skandapurana says that is called Srinanda, that opening. And he says the Rakshasa fell down, went underground. What? With the meaning of that, it could only be this, nothing else. It is actually it. And in fact, taking clue from my work, one geologist investigated on this asteroid impact in that region. But Irina, that Ran of Kutch being very slushy, those things will not remain. Only in Ramgarh, in the Aravallis, in the rock, there is a opening, like in Lonavala near, there is a comet impact, there is an asteroid impact, there is a lake, asteroid lake. There is a similar meteoritic lake in the Aravallis, it's a small one, near Ramgarh. And that is also worshipped as Brahmakunda, created Brahma himself. These are all astronomical things. Of course, God gives us from the top, I agree, but we have to recognize it.
Now I invite Dr. Nandakumaran sir for facilitation talk.
Om Namah Shivaya. It was a very, very interesting and informative talk. Normally, when we think about Vedas and Itihasas and Puranas, we don't associate with astronomical knowledge. This is what common man will do. As an average person, you think only about the stories. It was great to see that many, many deep astronomical truths are hidden in them. See, when we learn physics about precession of a rigid body, we are of course taught that there are also processes, and then it covers the precession period is 27,000 years. But I never knew that this can be related to the pole stars, the movement of the pole star. Because later on we learned that there is a movement of pole star, but earlier days we learned that pole stars are fixed and there is nothing more about it. It was very interesting to hear Dr. Iyengar give the details. I wish I knew Sanskrit a little bit more, because to understand these things, it would be nice to know the Sanskrit. So this is one place where I regret, where I have never learned Sanskrit at any stage in my life. I thank Professor Iyengar for the very, very brilliant lecture with all the details. I would end this with a personal note. Actually, when I was in the Indian Institute of Science, Dr. Iyengar was also there, so our period overlapped for a few years. He was there since 63 onwards, first as a student and then as faculty member. I was there from 71 to 77, so we had a brief overlapping period. And I remember to have seen him sitting in the library, the IAC library. So, thank you, sir, for such interesting lecture. Thank you.
As a talk from for love and appreciation, there is a Pannada. So, sir, please come to the set. Nandakumaran, I request Nandakumaran sir to give Pannada to Iyengar. Along with Pannada, there is one more gift from the Center for Spiritual Studies. So I request Puja Swamiji, Pratyanamrita Swamiji, to hand over the Aramula Kannadi, the traditional mirror from Kerala. This is actually a metal mirror, not a glass mirror. Namaskar. Generally, the pole star was used as a guidepost for the navigators, and millions of our ancestors traveled across the globe using pole star as a guide, so that it is easy for navigation through the high seas. Now, Sir has shown us how the pole star can be used as a chronological guidepost. I think you must have noticed the penultimate slide from Rigveda to the Shankara Bhashya, and at that period, Shankara Bhashya of Vishnu Sahasranama, almost some 6,000 years he has covered using the Shimshumara, the Vedic Dhruva as a guidepost. So, the Rishi like Tabas of the Iyengar sir has been instrumental in guiding and discovering such knowledge from the text. So I thank you, sir, for this wonderful talk from this on behalf of Amrita Darshanam and Amrita University. A special thank you for Iyengar sir. And I also thank Samaji. Samaji is instrumental to most of our brainstorming sessions. Pradhanam Samaji is very active in storming our brains by giving and asking quick questions, quick, sharp, very blunt questions. So thank you, Samaji, for coming to this.
Incidentally, the Harvard professor Michael Lisser, he says the Vedic mention of something about Samudra, it is just a description of the night sky, or rather the sky. So here, Professor Iyengar sir has given us a guideline, or a guide, navigation to navigate the night sky. That was using the stars and then coming to this.
I also thank the other supporting staff like ICTS has recorded the event, and the transportation team and guest house for giving all the facilities, and also my colleagues, principal sir and other students of MA Philosophy and other teachers, friends who came for it. Thank you. We will conclude this with chanting of Loka Sapsa together 3 times. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you. Sir will be available here till lunchtime, so if you have some personal questions,